Everybody rise. Hear ye, hear ye. The Hamilton County Commission is now in session. The Honorable Howard Shipley presiding. Please remain standing. This time I want to call the August 19th, 2021 meeting of the Hamilton County Legislative Body to order. I'm going to ask Commissioner Chris Cutshaw to lead us in our prayer, please.
Our most gracious Heavenly Father, God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your Son, Jesus. Praise be to you, Lord God. Thank you for the burdens you bear for us. Father God, we humbly come to you, asking you, Father, that you lead us, that you cover us with your mercy and your grace. God, we ask that your will be done. We look around our country, Father, and so many are hurting in surrounding countries, from virus to hurricanes to earthquakes. Father God, we just pray that your hand be on our nation, be on our state, and be on our county. We're so grateful for what we have here, and God, we really ask your will to be done. It's in Jesus' name that I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Chris. I'm going to ask Commissioner Tim Goins to please lead us in our pledge.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Commissioners, everything is going to be off the board tonight. I'll need to ask your favor, those of you who make a second, if you would raise your hand so that our clerk could make sure who seconded the motion, and we could take care of it from there. If you haven't already done so, please turn your mics on. And I'm going to ask the clerk to call the roll.
Jeff Baker,
Here.
Eileen Arnwine,
Here.
Chris Cutshaw,
Here.
Thomas Doty,
Here.
Randy DeBoard,
Here.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hall,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Here.
Joe Huntsman, Glenn Neesmith,
Here.
Mike Reed,
Here.
Howard Shipley,
Here.
James Stepp,
Here.
Taylor Ward.
Here.
13 present, 1 absent.
We do have a quorum present, so we are open for business. We do not have any special recognitions or presentations at this time, so the chair is going to recognize Chairman Jim Stepp of the Calendar and Rules Committee.
Thank you, Chairman. Item 2A, approval of consent calendar items. I put that in form of a motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, then all those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same way. The motion carries.
Item 2B, motion to approve the regular calendar items with the deletion of item 8, Personnel Committee.
We have a motion. Is there a second? We've got a
Second.
second. Here. Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, let it be known by saying no. The motion is approved.
All I have, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Chairman Stepp. At this time, the chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thomas Doty moves.
Second.
Okay, Horner seconds the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, by saying no. The motion is approved. The next item of business is request from Mayor Britton for the confirmation of Edgar Gray and John Hoffer to the Planning Committee for a 4-year term through August 2025. The chair would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion.
Okay. Chris Cutshaw moves. Chairman DeBoard seconds the motion. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, by saying no. The motion is approved. We come to the item of public comment from the audience, and we do have two requests for 5 minutes. Linda Noe has requested to address the commission regarding a couple of items, so Ms. Noe, you're recognized at this time.
Thank you very much. My name is Linda Noe, 2343 Joe Stevens Road. I had mentioned item 6A, that's where you will be approving a resolution to appropriate or to fund $22 million for the schools for Lincoln Elementary. That, of course, is related to the item that I do want to discuss, which is 7B on the bond resolution, the initial bond resolution. There's no problem with the $22 million for Lincoln, but you don't need and you don't have to include another $20,400,000 in that resolution for the Jail Justice Center. It's already $75 million. You haven't taken the second bids yet. You haven't done a shovel of dirt, and you're already getting ready to up it to $95 million. I remember just a little over a year ago, Mr. Shipley, and it's still on the county website, you had this letter criticizing these people. Oh, you were responding to the criticism about the jail. And you said, oh, it's not 76 million, 10 of that is for West High. You were right about the 10, roughly. But you were implying it was 66 million for the jail. Now you have, every time it has come, and there are about 9 or 10 of you, you just, it doesn't matter, whatever, add another 10 million, add another 20 million. By the time it's through, we don't know what it will be. But I ask that you change your resolution, leave it 22 million for the schools, an initial bond resolution. The whole purpose of this is simply to get it published in the paper and make sure you don't have the people with a petition for a referendum. That's all this is. The statement that, oh, it's just to publish it. Yes, it is just to publish it because that's step one. And then step two is what it says in the resolution. The Board of County Commissioners has determined that it is necessary and advisable to borrow funds and incur indebtedness. So yeah, you publish it in the paper, and then when you're ready to pull down the money, then you issue it. How about we stop and look? Get the facts. Look at another solution that would save $30 million. You could pave 15 or 20 miles of road for that. Patch a whole lot more. Why would you choose a $95 million solution when there's a $60 or $65 million solution? Nobody's answered that. Nobody's looked at it. Nobody has gotten the facts or figures to explain why the Taj Mahal multi-story, unsafe, unstaffable jail is preferable to one-level pods with a tower in the middle that has a 360-degree view. You don't have that with this jail in the current configuration. Yeah, you put something in the middle, but it can't see all the cells like you can if you've been to Coffee County. I know Mr. Reed has been, and Mr. Neesmith, and several others. If you've been in that tower, you know the observation you have. And that's with minimal staffing. And that's the other thing you'd love to ignore is you get a staffing study a little over a year ago, and I've never heard another word about it. As soon as it went in the paper that you'd need 72 more employees and it'd be 2 or 3 million extra every year, not just 1 year, but every year. And boy, did you shut up about that. That is part of your job. That is part of the jail. It's not just build a building. It's make sure you can staff it, make sure it's safe, make sure that it is designed so that you can monitor all the cells. Please separate it out and come back after you get your bids and check on how much you're going to need for the jail.
Thank you for your comments. Is Ms. Green here? I don't see her. She requested 5 minutes. I don't see her, so at this time, we would hear comments from anyone else regarding items that are on the agenda for a 3-minute period of time.
Darrell Arwood, I live on Elmer Road. Most of y'all know that the first Monday, we set up a booth and was giving out information to the people of this county about what y'all are doing with this jail. One of those ladies that come by there really struck a chord with me. She's 82 years old. She told me she attends first Monday in the flea markets because that's the only way she can survive. She has to look for discount items. She's already making choices between her medicines, her utility bills. She doesn't air condition her house because she can't afford the increased cost of the electric bill. This lady is already sacrificing. And what y'all are getting ready to do is increase her taxes. And that is just going to mean more of what she's going to have to do without. What you're doing is not going to cause it. It's going to intensify what is already going on for a lot of people out there. And y'all are not going out and seeing those people that are really struggling. You all have called us liars because we said it was a $75 million jail. Oh, no, you're a liar. We're getting it down from that. The mayor sat up here and said $95 million. And y'all are just pushing that through without even seeing the final bid, not even seeing what can be cut down out of it. Mr. Doty sat right over at the tech school and told me that face to face that he thought anything more than $65 million was too much. I've heard Mr. Reed make that same remark. Will any of y'all stand up now and go, hey, let's put the brakes on this. Let's stop this. I know y'all have heard Coffee County through up here till you're tired of it. I'm tired of hearing it. But it's just an example. It don't have to be exactly like theirs. But there are other options than going ahead with this $95 million monstrosity. If you're going to strap the people of this county with debt that they are already sacrificing to pay what we currently have, and then you're going to put more on them. Where's your compassion, your mercy for those people out there that are struggling? And Mr. Cutshall in this meeting with grace and mercy. Well, now show some of that grace and mercy to those people out there that are struggling to make it. And last thing I want to address, it has been floated around that Mrs. Noe comes in here and tells us what to say and what to do. We don't have a mayor that comes out and tells us how we're going to think and how we're going to feel and how we're going to vote. My own wife don't do that to me, and no one else sure isn't going to. What I come up here and tell you is what I think and what I feel. And if I am associated with Ms. Noe, it is simply because I agree with her on the issues, not because I have anyone telling me what to say or do. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have anyone else who wishes to address the commission regarding items on the agenda?
Bonnie Bullington, 317 Stubblefield Street, Whitesburg. Let me first just say I have never seen a body of officials like this group of commissioners that are so determined to get what they want regardless of the cost. The jail was going to be $75 million. You got bids, found out it was more. Now you want to borrow $42 million. I understand the $20 million for the school, but I have to wonder if it wasn't for you guys wanting more money for your jail, would you even consider borrowing the money to build this school? I find it doubtful. And once you get this extra money, how long is it going to be before we're back up here again with you guys wanting to borrow more money because you can't staff the jail? You can't pay for the maintenance on it. And to tell you the truth, when you get the other $20,400,000, I don't think that's going to pay for what y'all want. And I've never seen anybody as disagreeable that you won't even entertain another idea. I don't understand it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Peggy Howell, Howell Road, Morristown. I did not know, I was at another meeting and just thought I'd pop in, and I did not realize that these two things were going to be linked together. Hamlin County taxpayers want to know who is funding education. Hamlin County taxpayers will vote as to who is raising taxes and who we need to keep in office. I did not realize, but if we put these two together, that means all those who vote for the bill, in looking at it as an education thing, are also voting for the added money. We have a federal government that is throwing around millions and billions and trillions, and it does look a little alarming when 20 million is put up again for a jail that is doing the one you're proposing at 75 is enough. My brother hired a worker who is helping redo a house for him, and he, in learning about the guy, he said, "Yeah, I'm in jail." And he said, "Well, you're out here working." And he said, He showed him his ankle bracelet. And he said, "I have only 5 places I can go, but I will be put in jail if I avoid that." If he has a job, he has 3 meals a day at his choosing, he has a home to go to, I do not understand adding extra when if you build it, they will come. And we certainly don't need the extra addition, 20 million. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Anyone else?
My name is Tony Stradazzulo, 609 East Louise Avenue. I'm here tonight because we're still talking about this jail. We have an election coming up next year, and there's 2 people that are running for sheriff. We already know the current sheriff disagrees with what you all have planned. Has any of you gone and asked the 2 people that are running for sheriff what they thought? They're the ones that are going to be running this facility. And if you guys haven't, I'm going to. Next week, I will go and speak to both of them, and we'll get it out there on how they feel. Because the people should know who's going to be running this and how they feel. Not just about wasting and spending money. I can tell you, in 4 months, I've been in that jail twice. Both of them were unlawful. It's corrupt. This justice system is corrupt from the bottom up. Both times I've been charged unlawfully, and both times I will follow through. There's people that are sitting in this room today that are high up. They don't know the rules. They don't know the Constitution. They don't respect their citizens. And neither do you. You all sit over here with this look on your face like you're doing something for us. Not one of you, I haven't heard not one of you do something for the public that hasn't happened in this room. You all show up, you sit in your seats, you vote yes, you listen to the person that tells you what to do, and that's what happens. Nobody has done any research here. None of you. It's ridiculous. Because if you did research, we wouldn't be sitting here in this spot right now having this discussion. We need to move forward, okay? We cannot afford this big jail. We cannot afford to staff this big jail. And when I get some time and I start my investigations, I can promise you there won't be that many people in jail. Because these officers out here aren't just going to make these wild arrests like they have been. Because I've already got a list, and I'm already going to start looking at all the body cam footage, and this stuff is going to come out. You want people to move here, and you think people are going to come here and work and have these jobs and fill these positions? I promise you, by the time I'm done online, there will be nobody Googling Morristown, Tennessee, or Hamlin County that's going to want to move here. I promised you that. That's from the school board to the mayor to everybody sitting here. This place is a joke. It's a joke. You all go home, you all rest your heads on your pillow, and you forget about what's life, about all the people you're affecting. It's not about the people just sitting in this room. It's about our next generations of people, the people that we want to come here. Look outside. What's being built? Townhomes. Townhomes. You know why it's townhomes? Because that's the people we're bringing here, is the people that can't afford a single-family home. That's why we're building townhomes.
Your time is up. Thanks a lot for your comment. Do we have anyone else who wishes to address the commission? Seeing nobody in, we're going to proceed on with our business. At this time, Bobby Hahn of the Education Committee, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 6A, Resolution 2115, the resolution of the county legislative body of Hamlin County, Tennessee, authorizing the construction of a new Lincoln Elementary School. And I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Shane Stepp seconds the motion. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, we're going to have the clerk to call the roll. Please.
Jeff Baker,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
Aye.
Randy DeBoer,
Aye.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Eileen Arnwine,
Yes.
Mike Reed,
Yes.
Wayne Neesmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
Jim Stepp,
Yes.
Taylor Ward.
The 13 votes for the resolution. The resolution is passed. Thank you, Chairman Hall.
all I have,
We
yes.
appreciate that very much. At this time, we will recognize Chairman Randy DeBoer of the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On 7A, the approval of the monthly checks for July 2021, I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. We have a
Second.
second from Bobby Hahn. Any discussion? Hearing none. All of those in favor of approving the monthly checks for July 2021, please let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by saying no. The motion is approved.
Item 7B, Resolution 2116, initial bond resolution authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $42,400,000 and no dollars, and this is a general obligation bonds of Hamlin County, Tennessee, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Tim Goins seconds the motion.
Question.
Huh?
Mr. Neesmith has a question.
We're going to, now that we've got a motion and a second, I'm going to ask if anybody has anything, any discussion. Mr. Smith.
We just passed the school bill for $22 million to build a school. As Ms. Norrie brought up a while ago, in this bill is in this bond is $42,400,000. My motion is, I make a motion to amend the resolution 2116 to change that not to exceed $22 million and to change the wording on the resolution so all of the $22 million is solely for the school construction. I put that in form of a motion.
We have a motion, and your second?
Yes,
Thomas
sir.
Doty is second the motion that we amend the original motion by deleting $42,400,000 to $22 million, and that it be worded that all of it will be spent for the school system. Any discussion on the amendment?
Mr. Chairman, I've got some discussion
Okay.
on my amendment. This $20,400,000 will not be spent till March of 2023. We're not charged anything for these bonds till we take that money out and start spending it. So we're not losing interest on it. We don't pay interest on it as long as it's in there. And my thoughts are, we went over the plans, we've changed the plans, we've got architects looking at them, we've done qualifications for other construction people to bid on it. We won't be getting those bids in. The last word I heard was September the 30th. And I sent an email to, as you know, Mr. Shipley, I sent an email to Burwell and Mosley to find out if they had any more changes to the jail. And the reason I did that, because if I don't do that, I never hear if there is any changes or not. Nobody on the jail study committee tells me if there's any changes. That's why I can do it, and I've got the right to go to those people. But I've heard nothing. Are there any more changes? I don't know. But all I do know is this is not gonna cost us one thing. It's gonna be a year, March the 23rd, or March of 2023, before any of this money is spent. Wait till we get the bids. Wait till we see how much we're gonna spend. If I had my wants, I would hope these bids would come in $10 million lower. But I don't know. I'm guessing. Architects can't tell us. Nobody can tell us what these things are gonna do. So I say, let's wait till we find out what the price is gonna be. Let's keep the horse in front of the wagon instead of getting the wagon out in front of the horse. And that's all I've got to say about it.
Okay, does it, Mr. Doty?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to kind of echo Commissioner Neesmith, but also add a little bit. I would like to see us separate this for the sheer purpose of denoting who's voting for the schools and who's voting for the jails. That way we have it there. But like Mr. Neesmith said, the $20,400,000 is not going to be needed for an extended period of time. We don't need to add that right now. That's just putting it out there that opens the door for things. I've said for a long time, my opinion on building, if you tell somebody, build me what you can for $85 million, they're going to get the most they can get from you and give you the least. My opinion on things. I don't want us to have this extra $20 million for them to see as this is extra that we can pull from, we can pad. Again, that's my opinion on it, my opinion only, but I would like to see the rest of this body vote to separate that, just so that we can have a defining line between the schools and the jail, because we all know the confusion and the additional discussions that were made over the first time when we combined the West High with the jail money. If we separate that, then we've got a defining line, a separation that we can show. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Hall.
Pros and cons of getting the money now. I mean, it's not gonna cost us anything. So what are the pros and cons to waiting until we actually need it a year and a half from now? Can anybody? Thank you. I was hoping you would take over.
Chris Bessler, Cumberland Securities out of Knoxville, Tennessee. I serve as the county's municipal advisor. Just to back up a little bit, I want to go over what this resolution accomplishes and what this resolution does not accomplish. This resolution is when the county is going to enter into issue debt to finance capital infrastructure projects, there are multiple steps that have to be taken, both from a state law standpoint and under securities regulations as well. This resolution is what's called the initial resolution. This satisfies a state law requirement that you have to put out there your intent that you are planning to issue at some point debt to finance whatever you list in the projects here in the project list. So here it's jail, education facilities. What this does not do is obligate you to actually issue that debt. To do that, it requires another resolution. If you adopt this resolution right here tonight, you cannot, without further action, issue any more debt, period. Not even the $65 million that's still authorized under the prior initial resolution. Because what happened that last time, we did the first initial resolution, and then you did a bond resolution that was for $20 million. That resolution, which is much thicker, is what obligates the county to actually being able to pay, to issue debt, and obligates the general obligation credit, the full faith and credit of the county. So this resolution right here is one that is for state law purposes. It gets it out there, lets the public know you're considering a debt issuance, and gives them an opportunity to petition it if they so choose to do so. After that is over, then you can come back, or you can issue a bond resolution at the same time. You can do it concurrently, but you cannot issue debt unless you come back and consider it. So if the bids are coming in late September, then you're going to have an idea of where that is. But the people submitting the bid, the contractor submitting the bid, aren't going to have a not to exceed amount on that because you've not authorized anything.
I've got a question for you, sir, if I could.
Wait a minute, Thomas. Let's wait until all the other commissioners have an
Yes, sir.
opportunity, then you can come back.
So what I hear you saying, if I'm correct, is if we don't pass this, it could hold up the process of.
If you don't authorize this resolution,
Right.
and the bids come in higher than where you have already approved, that could be an issue down the road. If you approve this now, you still have to come back and approve a bond resolution later.
Correct.
You can't issue bonds, you can't issue anything unless you come back and do another bond resolution
So, yeah, okay.
specifying.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any other comments from any other commissioners?
Yes, sir.
Other than those, yes, okay.
I agree that the bonds need to be separate from, the school bond money and the jail justice center bond money, because it tends to force some people into voting for something they don't want to vote, the whole part of it on. But I'm for the schools, always have been, and of course everyone knows I'm not pleased with the monstrosity of this jail, but justice center. But that's how I feel.
Okay. Anybody else?
Mr. Bessler?
Yes, sir.
If these bonds were separated, is it potentially cost the county more to issue two separate sets of bonds? If in other words, you do one for the school, and we turn around and have to do one for whatever capital project it would be, that incurs more cost, isn't there?
Well, whenever you separate a bond issue out for various reasons, oftentimes it will come with some incremental extra cost. Sometimes it makes sense to do that, though. As it stands, the plan as it stands for the jail would be to do the bond issues in phases anyway, so you're not issuing more debt than what you actually plan to spend at that time. So it was going to be a multi-year approach anyways.
Sure, and I understand that one. I was just speaking of what's on the board for tonight. If we were to separate those two, you're going to have two separate bond issues that could incur more cost, is just a thought.
The resolution would impact whether you split it or keep them together.
The Citizen Tribune would reap generously from it being separated. That's the only cost I can think of. Anybody else before we come back to Thomas? Thomas.
Yes, sir. The quick question is, like you said, it's a very minimal cost. It's the advertising in the paper and our attorney's fees writing up the resolution. It was said that the Tribune would reap the rewards. I don't know the state law. What is state law on publishing this? How many times do they have to publish it? And in the paper and such as that. Do you know that, sir?
Once the initial resolution is adopted, you would publish it one time,
Okay.
and then there's 20 days from the date of publication for a
So-
protest to take place. From there, you still have to come back, and this legislative body still has to consider each issuance as it comes due.
I understand that, but if we separate this and we come back with another one next month, only thing we're doing is paying the Tribune one more time and the attorney to write the resolution to separate it and be with the jail on its own resolution. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Question, why don't just split this resolution, just do it, give it to the schools? After we get our bids, we're looking for 20,400,000. Just let that lay there till we find out how much more money we're gonna have to have. And how much more money the commission's gonna vote to spend on this jail. This thing could come in 20 million, couldn't touch it. We don't know. It might be 30 million. It might be 40 million. But it might be 10 million. We don't know. Why not wait till we get the bids, they get the prices on it, and then try to do something? We won't be guessing at it that way. Right now, we're anticipating and we're guessing is all we're doing.
Okay, we're going
Mayor.
to be voting on.
Hold
Yes.
on, Mayor.
Excuse me. Can you see that hand back there?
The whole purpose of the spreadsheet that's in your packet that goes through and gives you the financing plan for the elementary school and the additional money for the Justice Center, or actually for the whole Justice Center. This is to establish a plan for how we would finance these projects. And this initial bond resolution at 42.4, like Mr. Bessler mentioned, doesn't commit us to issuing those monies. This $95 million number on the Justice Center is, if you take where that number came from, was you have $10 million in a design cost, land purchasing, testing, FF&E, and then you had 85 million in bricks and mortar. Yeah. Now, it doesn't take into account the federal COVID money that we can apply to this project. So that could reduce it. But what this does is it sets a plan in place. It also sets a cap. It sets a maximum of what the county can issue in debt. It sets a maximum that it would not exceed the 85 million plus the 40, which is the 127.4 for West High, the elementary school, and the Justice Center. It doesn't commit you to anything except that it sets a cap on what you can borrow for the project.
Mr. Chairman.
Do you all have the motion in place? We're back to, now we're going to be voting on the amendment to the motion, and this is the amendment.
Not to exceed 22 million, to amend the original resolution, not to exceed the 22 million.
And that 22
General
million
obligation bonds to
would be
go-
spent on schools only.
All to go toward the school.
Okay, we're going to call the roll this time on just the amendment. If you vote for it, for the amendment, you will say aye or yes. If you vote against it, you'll say no.
Jed Baker,
Yes.
Chris Cutshaw,
No.
Randy DeBoard,
No.
Thomas Doty,
Yes.
Tim Goins,
No.
Bobby Hahn,
Yes.
Tim Horner,
No.
Eileen Arnwine,
No.
Mike Reed,
Yes.
Wayne Neesmith,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
No.
Jim Stepp,
No.
Taylor Ward.
No.
8 no.
You didn't separate it. You didn't separate it.
8 no, 5 yes.
Okay, the amendment fails if there are 8 noes. Okay, the amendment fails. We're back to the original resolution, and I think you understand what the original resolution is, $42,400,000, and we're going to do a roll call on the original motion. If you're in favor of the original motion, you will say yes. If you're against it, you'll say no.
Jeff Baker,
I'm voting no, but it's because of all that money that's going to the Justice Center Jail project. I am for the schools, I always have been, but that's why it's no.
Chris Cutshaw. Aye. Randy DeBoard,
Yes.
Thomas Doty,
Yes, but on because parts going to the schools.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Bobby Hahn,
Aye.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Eileen Arnwine,
Yes.
Mike Reed,
Yes.
Wayne Neesmith,
Dr. Perry, I'm gonna vote no, but you saw what I tried to do, get you 22 million where you would handle it and you wouldn't have it mixed up with this Justice Center. You'd have your own deal. Could be used for nothing but the jail, the school, nothing for the jail. I vote no.
Okay,
Howard Shipley,
yes.
Jim Stepp,
Yes.
Taylor Ward.
No.
3 no. Ten yes.
10 yeses, 3 noes, so the resolution is approved.
Item 7C, communication system. Put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
James Stepp seconds the motion. Any discussion about the communication system? Hearing none, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by saying no. The motion is approved.
Item 7D, Resolution 2117, a resolution to authorize cooperative purchasing agreement for the use and benefit of all county departments, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Tim Gahn seconds the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose it, let it be known by saying no. The motion is approved.
Item 7E, Utility Audit Participation Agreement, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Tim Horner seconds the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, all of those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by saying no. The motion is approved.
Item 7F, 2022 Community Development Block Grant, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Chris Cutshaw seconds the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, let it be known by saying no. The motion is approved.
Item 7G, Restated Agreements for Accounting Services, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Tim Gahn seconds the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by saying no. The motion is approved.
Item 7H, the Conflict of Interest Change, put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Cutshaw seconds the motion. Any discussion?
Would you elaborate on that?
It's the change of the policy and procedure that we discussed in the last meeting, no conflict of interest.
I got you. I remember that.
Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by saying no. The motion is approved.
Item 7I, budget amendments, Fund 101, Sheriff's Department for $3,400. And I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Akers seconds the motion. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by saying no. The motion is approved.
7I2, Fund 101, Sheriff's Department for $100, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Bobby Hahn seconds the motion. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose the motion, let it be saying, by saying no. The motion is approved.
7I3, Fund 101, County Clerk's Office for $10,000, and I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Eileen Arwine seconds the motion. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those who oppose the motion, let it be known by saying no. The motion is approved.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman DeBoard. And item number 8 has been deleted. And we're now to public comments, general comments. And again, Ms. Noy has requested 5 minutes. Ms. Noy, you're recognized.
I'd like to reserve my 5 minutes to the end.
Okay. Anyone else?
Ann Horner, 1535 Panther Creek Road.
Getting back.
So you just keep plowing forward with this mess without a plan. If you're a commissioner standing in the gap for citizens,
Yes.
I hope you know this is not aimed at you. I appreciate you. The rest of you don't care if citizens don't want this. First, you appointed a bail bondsman to head up your jail committee. Once you build your Taj Mahal, you can be proud of how you built up his business for him. Real ethical of y'all. Congrats. You started with a $65 to $75 million deal, which was already too much. You refused to look at any other way and told us we were misinformed. Then your bids came back super high and you had to regroup. Now you're getting some more of our money to make up the difference. Taxpayers be damned. To beat it all, you refuse to discuss staffing costs and how they will further burden us. You just play follow the leader. The problem is your leaders have their own interests and legacies at heart, and apparently you have no issues with that as long as you are part of their circus. And by the way, you still need to censure Jim Stepp for bullying, infringing on First Amendment rights, and conduct extremely unbecoming of a commissioner.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have anyone else who wishes to address the commission? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Teresa Archer, 1502 Allen Road. Mr. Horner, I'm very disappointed in you. I talked to you a month ago today about a sign in a neighbor's yard. Do you remember that conversation?
I do.
Did you talk to Mr. Cutshaw about it, and did you return my phone call? No, you did not. You said you didn't know anything about it, and then you stopped by their house one day this week wanting to know why they were tearing down a porch. I understand why they had to tear it down. It wasn't grandfathered in and what have you with the Planning Commission. But you told those people you didn't know anything about it. You did know about it. You had talked to him, you had talked to me, and then you lied to him. You lied to me, and I don't appreciate it. And furthermore, where you lived at one time, my whole family owned all that land over there until I had greedy cousins and TVA come in. And please, the next time you come up my road, there is a stop sign and there is a speed limit. Think about your children living on that road. Stop at the stop sign. I have to, so do you.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay.
Bonnie Bullington, 317 Stubblefield Street. I have a couple of things to touch on. First would be the lawsuit about our First Amendment rights being shut down in this meeting room. We got a response, Mr. Shipley, where you denied us our First Amendment rights. So my question is, why did this body of commissioners censor you, and why did you sit up there and apologize if you didn't do it? And then you come out with this, it's not going to fly. Then I want to jump to Commissioner Stepp. I still think he needs to be censored. Yes, I realize that we on this side do some things we probably shouldn't do. But do you think it might be because of what goes on that side? You need to take a good hard look at yourselves. The next thing I want to touch on is the Rules Committee. Still no mention of another meeting. Why is that? Is it because you can't get a hold of Nancy Phillips, maybe to get her to attend the meeting? We asked that she be thrown off the committee because of the way she acted. That hasn't been done. You know, we don't see you guys doing anything except asking for more money for this Taj Mahal fiasco. Thank you to the commissioners up here tonight that tried to do the right thing. Sadly, you'll never be able to because of the rest that wants to do what Mayor Britton wants. And how quick did King Bill Britton jump up here and make his points known that you better vote his way? You know, y'all ran for office. You need to take a good hard look at yourselves. Supposedly, you ran for office to do what's right for us taxpayers. But there are you commissioners in here that are doing nothing but bankrupting Hamlin County, and in the process, you're going to bankrupt the taxpayers. If you get this other $20 million for the jail, that won't be enough. It won't be long until you'll be coming back for more money for this crazy jail. Do the right thing for once in your lives. Do the right thing. Thank you.
Anyone else who wishes to address the commission?
Karen Harwood, 1501 Ella Road. I just wanted to say that it didn't seem like that any of you realized that when Mayor Bill Britton got up, he gave you the same song and dance about, oh, this is just putting a cap on your debt. He gave you that same song and dance when you voted on the 85. Nothing limits you to go back and have resolutions for bond issues and all that stuff. But you sat there and listened to him, and he told you the exact same thing. I sat here and heard it when it was for the 85 million. The thing is, too, at what point, if you take the current debt, the 85 million, plus the additional 42, and add it all together, average it out to an even number as you're looking at a total of $160 million, not including everyday expenses that our yearly budget's supposed to take care of. At what point in time, if something happens down the road, within 50, I don't even know when we can pay off or make a dent in $160 million of debt. Something else happens. What are you gonna do? You're gonna tax us to the point, I'm to the point, you keep taxing, it's not worth me having land and property in this county. I'll sell it and move. I'm tired of it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else? We have some announcements that I need to call your attention to. First of all. Oh, okay.
This is going to kind of be free form. Linda Noe, 2343 Joe Stevens Road. You saw tonight exactly why Mayor Britton put those two bond situations together. He knew it would force, and it did, you to vote for 42-4 because you didn't dare, and I appreciate the ones who did dare to say, you're not going to put me in that hole. And that's what's good about being able to say something when you vote. Because it's like in Washington, they vote for pork, put it all together. And that's what Bill Britton had you do. And he put a lot of you in a bind. And it wouldn't have made a bit of difference in the world to separate those two. Yeah, you would have had to pay. Jack Fishman needs the money. I'll pay for the second ad if you would do that. But it was to separate and make it clear who is for what. But no, Bill jumps up because he could see, oh gosh, it makes sense what Mr. Neesmith proposed. He's got a second. There's a lot of discussion. I better jump in and make sure that my group realizes they need to vote for the whole 42-4. And as Ms. Arwood said, this idea, oh, this caps it. Yeah, so did the one in January of 2020. Capped it? No. The other thing is there are a lot of situations up here with this jail. I'm sure I won't get an answer, but I don't know how many of you know that someone died in that jail just about, I'm thinking 2 weeks ago. I know some of you were asked, and a lot of you didn't know that. You never get told anything. You just get told, we've got lots of lawsuits. Hello, Mr. Capps. Wonder why Mr. Capps didn't tell you that. He was willing to talk to you about the lawsuit against him, the double dipping, double billing lawsuit, which he had no right to talk to you about. But then he doesn't tell you the things that you do need to know that are about the county. And I won't even go into Mr. Capps lying to the court in your lawsuit, Mr. Shipley. And now he wants to fix that. Explain. All he had to do was tell the court, yes, I billed the county and it was wrong and I'm going to return the money. Instead, he told the court, I didn't bill the county. And then he ran out and tried to make it true by writing a check back. That was your lawsuit, Mr. Shipley. And I noticed in your last responses that Ms. Bullington was talking about, yeah, you were asked if you violated the First Amendment rights, and your attorney denied that. There's a disconnect there. I know he went through this explanation. Oh, I just, read that 14 paragraphs, and I just voted to censure myself. You voted to censure yourself because of that. And then you deny violating the First Amendment rights. I think you need to explain that. Or your attorney. That'll be fine. What do we have here? Does anybody know what's going on? Does anybody care And why are we in this situation? Why are you talking about $95 million for a jail and a fancy justice center? Why are you picking that solution instead of a $60 or $65 million solution? Answer that. Run to the paper. Give him a statement. Let's have a series of articles in the paper about why we need to spend $95 million when there's a $65 million solution that's safer, requires less staff.
Thank you. Your comments are up.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Anybody else who wishes to address this commission? Commissioners, please take note of the announcements concerning the meetings in September. We stand adjourned.